Think sharks are scary? Well, this monster fish can eat a shark in a single gulp.
Oh my God!
Weighing as much as a grand piano, this territorial giant makes headlines when it's hungry. Amateur videos show Goliath grouper aggressively eating anything and everything floating on the surface. And craziest of all, attacking scuba divers. Once fished to near extinction, these protected ocean giants are reclaiming their home turf. So I'm in Florida to catch a super-sized Goliath grouper and see if it really is the monster it's made out to be. Oh my God, it's huge! Known internationally as a fishing and dive capital of the world, people here in Florida love to play in and around the water. But some people think there's a potential monster-sized problem lurking beneath the surface, and it's not a shark. By the mid-1990s, Goliath grouper were so overfished, they became listed as critically endangered. So under current US law, it's illegal to handle or remove one from the water. So to see how these giants really behave, I'm gonna need to call in the experts. I'm out with Chris Malinowski and a research team from Florida State University. Very little is known about these sumo-sized fish. So Chris is trying to learn where they live, what they eat, and whether or not this protected giant is actually making a comeback. Not only is his research crucial for their future survival, but it's the only way I can legally examine one. I don't see any fishing rods on board. How are we going to catch these fish?
The easiest way that we've found to catch them is actually through using a hand line. It's basically a rope.
We're going to be catching grouper with a hand line. This is big, heavy-duty gear, a thick rope, 900-pound monofilament line, and then pretty much the largest circle hook you can buy. Look how big that hook is. We want to be able to outmuscle the grouper. As soon as I feel a bite, I'm going to get into a tug of war with the grouper, and I'm trying to get it up to the surface. Is there a chance we'll catch fish other than grouper?
There's a lot of different shark species in this area that we end up pulling up.
Some of them pretty big?
Some big. I mean, we caught 14-foot hammerhead during our last trip. So these are massive fish.
Wow. Sharks are a whole different game. When they get to the surface, unlike Goliath grouper, sharks will use their jaw, their sharp teeth. They'll swing their head and bite down. So if we catch one, we'll only want to bring it halfway into the boat to unhook it, before releasing it back into the ocean. What bait are we going to use?
So we're going to start off with a huge chunk of bonita here. Okay, so it's very important when you're doing this because we're catching such large fish, you've always got to watch your feet, because if a fish or a shark grabs, it'll take you right into the water.
Okay.
So just chuck it overboard. All right, and then hold on to that mono, keeping that in front of you, good.
If that float starts bobbing or it goes underneath the water, that's an indication that I have a big fish. But I have no way of knowing if I've hooked a shark or a Goliath grouper. I just know that it's going to be a big fight. Whoa, there we go, got one. Fish. It's coming toward the boat, hand over hand. If it's a grouper, it's gonna be a monster. Oh, there we go. Shaking, shaking. It's coming up. Just can feel the tug. shaking. Oh, I see white. It's shark. It's spinning.
Oh, he's gonna wet this.
Woo! Man, sandbar shark. See the huge dorsal fin on the back. That's characteristic of a sandbar shark. Make another run. We're gonna try to get this into the boat head first.
Okay, oh, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. Yeah, okay, you got it. Yeah.
It's a big, probably 7, 8 feet long. You can see the big dorsal fin, big pec fins. Watch out.
Got slapped in the face, that was fun.
And these sharks, they can twist.
Trying.
They'll throw up their head. You can see if it senses something close to it, it'll bite down. So right there, it's kind of blocked. It can't really move its head too much and twist around for a bite. So this is the safest place to keep this shark. Got a tag?
Got one.
We're gonna clip the hook so that it doesn't have its hook in its jaw anymore. Okay, the hook's out. Okay, it's ready to go. Ready? Nice. Good work, guys.
Yeah. That was good.
That really was a monster of the deep. But I want to know if the Goliath grouper's bite is just as big. So it's time to bait up and cast out.
Fish. Oh, God, it feels like we hooked onto an anchor. Go around the other side. Oh. Run in, run in. Watch it. Good. It's a large shark, big, dusky. It's hard to maneuver. It's probably 8 or 9 feet long.
Watch it, watch it.
Here it is. We got the tail rope.
Yeah. Nice.
We got it. Let's go. Okay, we got it tailed. So now we can control it a little bit easier. And we're gonna bring it in tail first into the boat. It's a really beautiful shark. Watch out. Got it? Here we go. Oh my God. We have to cut the hook out. Woo! Oh, man. That's a big fish.
Sharks are clearly an apex predator out here. They're so quick to our bait. We're gonna need to drop more hooks to increase our chances of catching a Goliath grouper.
Oh, fish on. Oh, man. Fish, really heavy. It's hard to hold on to it. That really is like tug of war, isn't it? Oh. Feel free to help me. 3 people, 3 of us.
Goliath grouper can weigh as much as a grizzly bear. And right now, that's what this fish feels like.
Pull. Think we got it. We're up to the float.
Keep pulling.
Keep pulling. Just watching my feet.
Keep going. Remember to watch your hand on the leader part.
Yeah. Oh, man, it feels heavy. Goliath grouper, big one. Yeah, it looks big. Woo. We're gonna get it on board. Here it comes. Nice, awesome.
One. Yeah.
Man, big fish. So, first Goliath grouper, big, man, it's massive. Towel over the head of the fish to keep it calm. A tube in the fish's mouth to pass water over its gills. And we're gonna strap it down so in case it starts flapping, it stays secured to this stretcher. Check it out, our first grouper. Man, it's a big fish. They're one of the largest bony fish on Earth. Grow up to about 8 feet long, over 600 pounds. Everything about this fish is supersized. You can see big head, large mouth, thick lips. And the dorsal spines are almost the size of one of my fingers. And this kind of classic grouper mottled color, lighter belly, darker back. One of the most impressive things about the Goliath grouper, not necessarily the length, but its mass, the thickness, all of the muscle, the strength. And that's what I'm feeling when I'm holding onto that hand line, is this fish using its strength to try to get back down to the ocean bottom.
When you're ready, pull tight and let me know what number you got.
Okay, 153, is that right?
Yeah, 153. Awesome.
This is a 5-foot Goliath grouper. How much would you guess this fish weighs?
Probably around 200 pounds.
That's a big fish.
Yeah, it's a big fish.
Amazingly, this grouper could get 4 times heavier and weigh 800 pounds by the time it's fully grown. Chris wants to find out what the Goliath grouper is eating, and he's figured out a bizarre but effective way to do just that with a plastic pipe.
The easiest way to get the stomach contents is actually put my hand and my arm all the way into the fish's belly.
Go all the way until you feel the back of its stomach.
Ugh. All the way?
All the way in.
Ugh.
Feel around for anything that might be in there.
Gross. It doesn't smell very good either. Feels like I'm putting my hand into a roast or like a raw steak. I can't tell what's stomach and what's bait. Oh, there's something in here.
Yeah.
Ah! That's gross. Oh.
Some partially digested fish parts.
We'll take it.
All right, so put that in here as our stomach sample. So you can see here, that's a crab part. Right there, you can also see fairly small vertebrae, which would be from a smaller reef fish, probably not something very large.
I was expecting to find large fish in the stomach. The grouper's normal diet, it's not large fish, it's crabs and smaller fish.
Exactly. Behaviorally, they don't swim very fast, so they're not going to be after very fast prey. They often feed into the bottom, into the sediment.
Wow, so even though the Goliath grouper is able to swallow a big bait, normally grouper feed relatively low on the food chain, on crabs and small fish.
And that's an important clue. This Goliath grouper wasn't searching the ocean looking for big prey like those sharks were. To hook this grouper, I had to drop my bait right in front of it on the ocean bottom.
Okay, you ready?
Clamp it. Perfect.
Hey,
Okay, fish is tagged. We ready to get this fish back in the water?
we're ready to get it back in the water then.
But before I can release this grouper, something big is hitting my other bait.
Fish on.
Oh my God, it's huge.
We got a fish. Ugh. It's just like pulling a sack of cement, isn't it? Oh, looks like a grouper. Seeing that pale kind of yellow color. Oh, I'm fighting the fish and the current. Just trying to get it up behind the boat here. Just gonna look at it. Oh man.
I'd say that's maybe 5.5 feet long.
So we caught 2 fish at the same time. These guys say that isn't unusual. Once we get the first bite, then other grouper can sense what's going on and they'll come in and feed as well, creating a feeding frenzy. So check out this now then. What you can see immediately, it's not like a shark with sharp, jagged teeth. On the upper and lower jaw are pads of needle-like teeth that are pointed backward. So if I put my finger in its mouth and try to pull my finger out, it grips. So that's exactly what would happen to prey that ended up in a grouper's mouth. They can open their mouth very, very, very wide. The grouper will suck in prey, clamp down, and use those teeth to grip onto prey and then swallow the prey whole. So this is an important clue. Groupers are not biting and ripping apart prey like a shark. They're sucking it in and swallowing it whole.
Which makes total sense now that I know grouper eat mainly small fish and crabs, hardly the diet of a ferocious monster.
It's a recapture. So this is a fish that these guys have already caught and tagged once. Okay, tag number 96F2508.
Got it.
What do the tags and recaptures tell you about the fish's movement patterns?
If we're recapturing this fish over and over again, that means that they're likely residents because they have a very strong sight fidelity. They don't move a lot during most of the time of the year.
So that's an important clue. Goliath grouper aren't like sharks, patrolling large expanses of ocean looking for prey. They'll find a wreck or reef they like and make that their home.
Unstrap it first.
Yep, everything's out of it.
Straps off.
Good.
See you later. Wow.
Working with Chris and his research team and catching 2 big ocean predators, I now know that Goliath grouper are misunderstood.
Even though Goliath grouper are big, powerful predators, they're not feeding on the top of the food chain. They're not violently ripping up prey with their teeth like some sharks. They're sucking in prey with their mouth.
And Goliath grouper aren't out patrolling the open ocean like those sharks I caught. They're sticking to one chosen reef or wreck, finding small prey on the ocean bottom. So why are there viral videos showing them attacking large prey on the surface?
Oh my God!
I leave Chris and travel cross-state to the Gulf of Mexico, where some of these viral videos have emerged. It's here in the small town of Englewood, where local fishermen are gonna help me set the record straight.
I want to see whether or not the viral videos of Goliath grouper are true.
And if so, figure out why a bottom-dwelling fish is behaving so aggressively at the surface.
I'm out with Dan. He's a Florida local, a charter boat captain, and he has encounters with Goliath grouper every day. And this is something I'd like to see for myself. We're about 5-6 miles offshore here, fishing above an artificial reef.
This is a popular fishing reef, where Dan says Goliath grouper come to the surface to feed aggressively.
Oh, got a nibble. Got something. Fish on. Oh, lost the fish. Something big came in and got it.
Yeah, probably had about a 3-4 pound fish on there, and then a Goliath grouper came and got him about halfway up.
So that's what people are complaining about. People come out here, try to catch smaller fish. Goliath grouper come up, whack. So I've witnessed firsthand a grouper steal a fish off my line. And I know there is some truth to those stories I heard. So how do you avoid that, Dan?
Well, the best trick is when you feel that bite, you just reel as quick as you can to try and get that fish away from the bottom.
And so as soon as the fish is hooked, it's a race because there's probably a big grouper chasing.
You hit it right on the head. There you go. Get him up, get him up, get him up!
Trying to get him up as fast as I can. So it's a race now between me and the grouper. Oh. God.
Come on, go, 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 go. Get him off the bottom. Come on.
Yeah. Woo. Woo. As long as I reel in fast, get the fish up to the boat as quickly as possible, no problems.
It's that extra 2 seconds that that fish either has to rest or to swim back down. That's all it takes. Your Goliaths are gonna get him most of the time.
The viral videos make a lot more sense to me now.
People are going out to locations that have a lot of Goliath grouper. They're putting bait in the water, or they have a weakened fish on the line, and the Goliath grouper are coming in for an easy meal.
Oh! Oh! Oh my God!
So even though they catch the majority of their diet on the ocean bottom, it's clear Goliath grouper will still target a big meal if it's dangled in front of them or it's on the surface. I want to see if this easy meal theory explains the attacks on scuba divers.
To do that, I'm going out with Tom McLaughlin.
He's been fishing and diving for over 20 years and has a secret spot where I can dive with Goliath grouper.
So where are we headed right now?
We're headed to a big wreck in about 100 feet of water. It's the kind of place they really like to live.
The entire wreck is about 500 feet long. It's all broken apart. We're gonna focus in on one piece of that wreck where Tom says the grouper really like to hang out. This is my first dive. We're in about 100 feet of water diving on a wreck where Tom's seen a lot of groupers. He's also seen a lot of big sharks around here. So I'm excited, feeling a little bit nervous. Just want to get in the water and get down and see what's down there. I love the water, but that sense of not being able to see what's out there is still a little bit unnerving. Out of the murk, the gloom, I see the large shape of a wreck emerge below me.
And I need to be careful. Swimming in confined spaces like this can be dangerous. There are lots of things I can get tangled up in. Suddenly, I look up, and in front of me is a big shadow moving in the darkness. And as my eyes adjust to the darkness, I'm face to face with a grouper. And I'm not sure how it's going to react. It seems to sense my presence, and it slowly moves away. I'm seeing grouper poking their heads out of the portholes in the wreck, swimming up a ledge, peering over a crack, and seeing a grouper sitting down in the hull of the wreck. None of the grouper are being aggressive. So now I want to try the second half of my experiment and introduce an easy meal. We're sitting on top of the wreck, and a big school of jacks swims by us. The second Tom spears that jack, the atmosphere on the wreck changes. The reef becomes more tense, more turned on, more energized. As we're swimming up the wreck, I see off to my right something big coming out of the darkness. It's not a grouper. It's a bull shark, one of the most dangerous sharks in the world. And it's coming right at us. I see this light shape coming towards me, pointed snout, sleek body, more streamlined than a grouper. A 7-foot bull shark. It comes in between Tom and I and circles back behind my head. This isn't a good situation. A lot of people get bitten by sharks in exactly these circumstances. And it's circling us, swimming around us. It's obviously cued in on that bait as well. We need to get out of this situation. We move down to a crack in the wreck where we'll be less vulnerable to the bull shark. But the crack in the wreck is where all the grouper are sitting. And the grouper are also behaving differently because we have this fish. And the grouper are being much more aggressive, moving more quickly, obviously interested in this fish that we have. I pick up the fish, hold it out, and in an instant, a grouper comes in, grabs the whole head of the fish, of this jack, in its mouth, pulls it from me, and swims away. We can still see the bull shark patrolling around the wreck. So we need to get back up to the surface as quickly as we can. So it's clear that introducing food into the equation, it triggers that grouper feeding behavior. So now I can see that video in a different way. When that grouper, when it looks like it's attacking the diver, it's actually just going after the food that that diver has. That's a clue that these grouper may not be the monsters that some people make them out to be. They're not searching out big prey or treating humans as food. They're detecting small or injured fish using their lateral line, like most other fish species. I've yet to catch a fully grown Goliath grouper, but I've learned these fish only inhabit certain structures and rarely move. So I'm gonna need Tom's help to find a giant. He's one of the only people on the West Coast who's permitted to catch and land Goliath grouper for research, so he knows all the local grouper hangouts. This is my opportunity to try and catch the biggest Goliath grouper I can find and collect data for local scientists along the way. Before we're able to catch our grouper, we need to catch our bait. There are a bunch of birds right out here in front of the boat, and I can see action on the surface of the water. If we can get right in the middle of the school, get some bait. Oh yeah, you can see them on the surface here. They're right behind the boat.
Just moving my rod back and forth a little bit to give that tube just a little bit of action, make it look a little bit more like a live fish. They're coming. We're gonna get a bite. Yeah, I got one. Oh, he's running. Got a fish. Man.
And that's just our bait.
Yeah, that's the bait. He just took like 50 yards of line. Oh, there it goes. Nice. This is good bait?
This is great bait.
Grouper just eat that thing, no problem?
They definitely would eat that whole. Even much bigger fish than this, they'll eat whole.
Barracuda can get up to about 6 feet long. At this size, at about 3.5 feet. That's an impressive fish. Long, slender, pointed nose, relatively large eyes, and those very sharp, almost jagged teeth. They have a reputation for being very efficient predators. So the fish that I'm after could eat this barracuda in one bite.
Now that I've caught the bait I need, it's time to catch my monster-sized grouper.
Where are we headed right now?
We're gonna go over to the phosphate dock. It's an abandoned dock right on Boca Grande Pass.
So this is kind of a local spot that's known to have some big fish.
There are a lot of records of catching fish in the 400 and 500 pound range.
We're fishing for a 400 or 500 pound fish, essentially in people's backyards. The grouper, they're actually in between those pilings, their heads pointed out. And we're gonna try to back the boat in. I'm gonna drop the bait down. As soon as I feel the bite, I'm gonna reel in. Tom's gonna drive the boat away from those pilings and see if we can land a fish. Ready?
Yep.
Drop it.
Yep, drop it.
So I want to keep the bait about 2 or 3 feet off the bottom. Just keep the bait real still so we can see when we get a bite. Okay, I'm on the bottom there. Reeled up a little bit. Just wait for that rod tip to bend. Oh, bite, got one, got one. Oh, no, man. So they're down there, they're able to move back into those pilings, and I can't hook them. On the bottom, reel up a little bit. There's something. Got a hit.
That's your bite. Yep, reel.
Reel. Yeah, got one. Fish on.
Holy! Whoa!
Fish on. Got something here. It's back behind the boat. It's pulling line. Strong. Shaking its head. Making another dive. It's pushing back down towards the depths. We're gonna try to get this fish away from the pilings. It's coming up. It's coming up. Grouper, look at him shaking his head back and forth. Wow, nice fish. Whew. Look at that. Tom's gonna drive the boat over to the beach. We're gonna park quickly so Tom and I can tag and release this fish. Okay, we have the grouper to shore. We're gonna put it in this net. Get a closer look. This is the first time I've seen a juvenile Goliath grouper, so by comparison, this is a small guy. So Tom, how can you tell this is a juvenile?
So it's partly decoloration, this modeling.
So do you think that as young fish, this modeling is almost a camouflage?
Absolutely.
This fish here spent the last several years growing up in the mangroves and estuaries somewhere safe, starting to maybe now get a little bit more bold, venturing into deeper water. 4 feet 2 inches. And now we want to get a tag. Okay, it's tagged. Tag number 5754.
This isn't my big grouper, but it's a big clue. Catching a juvenile and not a giant is a sign that fully grown adults might have left this location and started their annual migration offshore to spawn.
And so the best chance for a really big fish is offshore.
Most of those big fish, they're going to be offshore spawning right now.
We're just gonna hold him upright. He's swimming, you can see the tail moving. He's ready to go. Awesome.
Tom thinks that the giant grouper might be spawning offshore, and when groupers do that, they aggregate, forming large clusters to breed. So my timing could be perfect. If I can locate where these fish spawn, I could find not one, but a whole bunch of monster-sized grouper. And there's one place Tom wants to check first.
So where are we headed right now?
Here's our boat right here. We're headed towards the wreck. It's a giant freighter that's sunk. It's upside down, kind of broken apart, full of holes.
So we're in 95 feet of water right now, so you can see this line here is the bottom. This blip right below us is the wreck, and then a big school of fish hanging out above the wreck.
This big school of fish might be the aggregation of giants we're looking for. But there's only one way I can know for sure. I drop into the water and the clarity is not good. There's a strong current. I'm swimming along, looking in portholes, no grouper. Looking into cracks, no grouper. Maybe this was a false alarm. Maybe there aren't any fish down here. And then, as I come around the front of the boat, all of these grouper just appear before me. 6, 10, 15, just stretching out as far as I can see in the distance. They're the size of small cars. I'm swimming right into the middle of a huge aggregation of one of the largest fish on Earth. You only see something like this a few places in the world. And here they are, all of these Goliath grouper right in front of me, ready to spawn with the new moon.
Man, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Nothing could really prepare me for seeing all of them together like that.
15 giant grouper all together. I've struck gold. Now that I've found where the true giants are hiding, it's time to catch one.
Yep. As fast as you can. There you go.
Just running towards the wreck, we caught this fish. Hooked this fish about 30 feet above the bottom, and he's running back down to the bottom, and I don't want him to get snagged on anything. Ugh. Making his third run. Oh. He's pulling the boat, moving the boat over the wreck, making dives. But I got some line on him now. Trying to make another run. Just had a huge run. So with this rod and this reel, anytime I can reel, I'm reeling, unless the fish is running. Oh, my arm's burning. See what we got here? Oh, there we go. I see something down there, a silhouette. That looks big, whatever it is. Whew. It's a grouper, Goliath grouper. He's right out here in front of the boat. He's coming up to the surface. Nice, big fish, beautiful color. This one's a little bit bigger, probably 5.5 feet long, beautiful brown mottled color. So you can see this technique, the big rod, it worked in about 60 seconds. Whew. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on. That's a big fish. Whew. Man, nice.
Now that we've got it on board, we need to tag it and record the size and weight for Tom's research team.
Man, the technique works. Deep water, fishing on a wreck, big bait, and the biggest Goliath grouper yet.
So we're gonna just keep him nice and wet here, and then put this saltwater hose across his gills, and that's gonna allow him to breathe while he's in the boat.
So we're on a clock right now, 5 minutes, get the tagging done, get a length, get a weight, and get this fish back in the water.
5 feet 4 inches.
5 feet 4 inches, so almost as long as I am tall. I'm guessing probably 120 pounds, and believe it or not, they get a lot bigger than this one. We got a length, we got the tag. Time to get this fish back in the water.
Yep.
And gone. That was the biggest Goliath grouper I've seen so far, but we're not catching any true monsters.
Where are the 7 and 8 foot grouper?
I want to try increasing the size of my bait. So first, I'm gonna have to catch some bigger bait fish. There's a school right in front of us, hundreds of fish just splashing on the surface. Oh, look at that.
Bull shark.
Bull shark.
There's another bull shark.
Fish on. There's 2 sharks right behind the boat. I'm gonna try to get this fish in before the sharks come up. Oh. 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 There are 2 big bull sharks circling right below the boat, though, and they'll come up and take these bonita right off the line. Oh. Just trying to bring it up to the surface as fast as I can. Oh. If we can get 3 or 4 of these bonita, we have a good chance at a big grouper. Powerful fish. It's a bait fish, but it's a good sized fish. It's like maybe a 2 or 3 footer. Oh. Oh. Whew.
I've beaten the bull sharks to my bait.
Nice. Beautiful.
This is the perfect size to catch a massive grouper.
Little bonita looks like a little tuna, and they swim like a tuna too. Real powerful bursts of speed.
Believe it or not, a Goliath grouper can swallow this whole.
Cool, okay, let's get it in the bait box.
We keep fishing until we have 6 or 7 bonita.
You got one?
Yep.
I got
There
one.
he is.
2 fish on. Oh.
Yep. Perfect bait size.
This is the bait that we need to go after a really big fish.
Ugh.
Go.
Fish on. Oh, fish, fish, fish. Oh, come on. No, 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 no. That didn't take long. Man, as soon as that bait in the water, something bites it, and this is something bigger. Ugh. It's almost impossible to pull line off this reel, and this fish is doing it. It's bending the rod down into the water. This feels like a larger fish. This is the biggest fish I've had so far, so I need to remember everything I've learned. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Grab the line. Yeah. It's pulling a lot of line. This fish has pulled more line. It's hard to get any line on him. He's really swimming. Oh, this could be a big fish. He's running to that wreck. It's hard reeling in. Oh, feels big. This could be it. This could be the fish. Oh. As fast as I'm reeling in, the fish is pulling line back out. The boat is being pulled from side to side. This is a 32-foot, 18,000-pound boat that's being pulled by a fish. Getting in now. It's coming up, it's coming up. Oh. Woo, man, this is the big one. This is it. I've done it. It's amazing. It's the fish I've been looking for. A monster-sized grouper. But it's so big, it's gonna be impossible for Tom and I to lift this fish into the boat. So I'm gonna get a length, tag it, and release it in the water. Took all the strength I had, tricks I've learned, Tom's help to get this thing up to the surface. Now that I'm in the water with this fish, I can see just how big it really is. 7 feet long, about 300 pounds, just massive. It's longer than I am tall. The girth of it, I probably couldn't put my arms around it. The spines are almost as long and as thick as my fingers. Check out the size of its tail. This is a big, big fish. I mean, a lot of people say these groupers very aggressive, but been in the water with it, I can see it for what it is. They're not being aggressive, they're not trying to attack people, it's just sitting there calmly, no danger to me whatsoever. So what I've learned is that the majority of their food they're finding on the bottom in a small, localized territory. And they're more curious than they are aggressive when it comes to humans. And they're only coming to the surface where people are fishing to get an easy meal. Even the biggest of these fish are not the menace or the monster that they're sometimes made out to be. Fish is recovered. It's ready to go. Just gonna take it out away from the boat, give it a push down. It's gonna be gone.